a yearist. Rain lashed against the decaying stone walls of Blackwell Asylum, a Gothic monstrosity perched atop Widow's Peak, overlooking the desolate valley of Silent Hollow. Locals whispered of unspeakable experiments conducted within its walls, of souls trapped between worlds, forever reliving their torment. Tonight, young Thomas Abernethy, a thrill-seeking journalist for the Arkham Gazette, found himself drawn to its ominous presence. He heard the legends, dismissed them as folklore, but a morbid curiosity, and the promise of a sensational story had lured him in. He found the main gate unlocked, a rusted invitation to oblivion. The wind howled through broken windows, carrying with it the faint scent of decay and something else, something metallic, like old blood. He stepped inside, his flashlight beam cutting through the oppressive darkness. The air grew colder, pressing down on him like a physical weight. The reception area was a scene of utter chaos. Overturned desks, scattered files, and a thick layer of dust hinted at a hasty abandonment. Thomas noticed a ledger lying open on the floor. Its pages were filled with cryptic entries, names crossed out, and strange symbols that sent a shiver down his spine. One entry, dated shortly before the asylum's closure, caught his eye. Patient who exhibit heightened psychic sensitivity, possibility of gateway manifestation. He ventured deeper, his flashlight illuminating long, echoing corridors. Each room he passed was a tableau of horror, padded cells stained with unknown fluids, surgical instruments laid out on a rusting table, a straitjacket hanging eerily in the center of a darkened cell. The silence was punctuated by the drip, drip, drip of water, each drop an agonizing reminder of his solitude. Suddenly, a voice, a low, rasping whisper, echoed through the corridor. "Get up." Thomas froze, his heart pounding against his ribs. He spun around, his flashlight beam darting wildly, but found nothing. "Get out while you still can." The voice seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. He pressed on, drawn by an unseen force to the heart of the asylum. He found himself in a large, circular room, the walls lined with empty observation windows. In the center stood a single chair, bathed in an unearthly blue light emanating from the ceiling. As he approached the chair, the temperature plummeted. A figure began to materialize, a spectral form flickering in and out of existence. It was a woman, her face contorted in silent agony, her eyes hollow pits of despair. She reached out to him, her touch like ice. "Help me, they took my mind, they stole my soul." Her voice, though barely audible, resonated within his very being. He tried to speak, to offer comfort, but his throat was constricted with fear. The spectral woman pointed a trembling finger towards one of the observation windows. "He's still here, watching, waiting." Thomas followed her gaze and saw a figure standing in the shadows beyond the window. A tall, gaunt man in a stained white coat, his face obscured by darkness. The figure raised a hand, and a wave of nausea washed over Thomas. He felt his mind begin to unravel, his thoughts becoming fragmented and distorted. He was experiencing what Patient had endured. He stumbled back, desperate to escape the asylum's suffocating grip. The spectral woman shrieked, a sound that shattered the silence and sent shards of ice through his veins. The figure in the window lunged forward, his hand passing through the glass as if it were mere air. Thomas screamed, a primal cry of terror, and bolted down the corridor, the spectral figure in pursuit. He ran blindly, his flashlight beam bouncing erratically, illuminating glimpses of the asylum's horrors. He could hear the woman's agonizing cries and the chilling laughter of the figure in white. He burst through the front doors, collapsing onto the rain-soaked ground, gasping for air. He looked back at the asylum, a silhouette against the stormy sky. The figure in white stood in an upper window, watching him with malevolent intent. A single word formed on his lips. Soon, Thomas never wrote his story. He returned to Arkham, a broken man, haunted by the horrors he had witnessed. He spent the rest of his days consumed by paranoia, convinced that the Blackwell Asylum and the entity within were coming for him. Silent Hollow remained silent, keeping its secrets buried deep within its haunted heart. The asylum stood waiting, a monument to madness, forever claiming souls who dared to trespass within its walls. The legend of Blackwell Asylum lived on, a terrifying reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the veil of reality.